Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Sergey and I'm the owner of Sergey Green Studio. We provide photography and videography services here in Los Angeles since 2011. And in this specific video, we're going to be talking about the album covers. If you want to find out why do you need the album in the first place, this is the video for you. If you want to check out the different size of the albums, this different design styles and this kind of things, this video is right over here for you. If you want to just take a look at the covers itself, maybe you're one of our clients and you just want to get the feel of the covers, you guessed it, this is the video for you. But in this specific video, we're going to be talking about the cover solution overall. And why is that important, first of all? Well, as we all know, books judged by its color, the cover. The cover is incredibly important for two reasons. First of all, it's the first impression. It's the design, it's the way it's going to look when you hold it. It's the impression that it's going to make, not the photos itself. Photos itself, of course, it's incredibly important. But when you hold it like that before you open it, the cover gives you the first impression. It's also how it's going to look in your shelf as well. And also, it's what kind of impression is going to give to your family and guests who's going to look at this album. And the second point, of course, it's the durability, because we're talking about the wedding albums. It's not kind of the albums that is going to be there like for a couple of months or so. This album is going to be with you for 10, 20, 30, maybe more years. I still have my parents' album, and this is 1984. So yeah, 39 years old album. Nothing close to that, but it's still with me. So you get the point. It's very important to keep it alive out there. So let's get started. First of all, I have to say that I've been making albums for a very, very long time, and I'm working with a current lab for about 6 years, and I've tried many different options for the cover, and I eventually stopped on the best out there, premium leather. Of course, you can go, and as far as I've seen, most of the people going with the eco leather like that, and there is nothing wrong with it until you compare it with the premium leather. And again, there's the video over here when I'm just talking about the covers, and I think even from the video you will be able to see the difference. Yes, there is much more color options, but in reality, 99% of my albums, it's either brown or black, very rarely dark blue colors. So the colors option doesn't really matter that much. It's all about the quality. If you're not into the leather cover for some reason, there's also a very good fabric options. I don't have this album with me, but I'm also going to link it right over here. There's two beautiful albums that I deliver for a client. It's like incredibly beautiful things, 16 by 12, one for the engagement photo shoot and another for the wedding. An and Ha, thank you so much for ordering this album, still remember them. But when you order the fabric albums, I always recommend to get the cover right away. It's basically like a case made out of the same material. And you want to make sure what is going on your table or at any surface you're going to look at it, because you're not going to be able to wipe it, or if the mark is there, it's probably going to stay there, unfortunately. But again, if you're into fabric, it's an option as well. What other options available out there in our specific case, for example? Actually, quite a lot. We can make a cover out of acrylic, we can make a wooden cover, we can put the metal plates over here, pretty much everything. The album can be customized. Let's lift this one big one. The album can be customized in many different ways. You can change the color of the frame, you can move the photo anywhere you want, you can make it actually horizontal. Maybe you don't want to photo, you want your names right over here. You can also change the color of that part over here. You can add additional elements right over here. Sometimes I would go and add my small logo right over here. So there's a bunch of ways of customizing it, but through the years I understood that than less than better is just hold up through the years much better, and is going to look, in my personal opinion, a little bit better. But at the same time, some of my clients, when it's going to come to ordering the albums, they would have a very specific idea, and they would tell me, even without me delivering them these options, they're going to tell me, like, here's what we want, here's where we want our photos, here's the cover that is going to we're going to use. And usually this cover and design overall of the album matching to the color theme of the wedding itself. But if you don't have that specific idea about the album, I would really recommend to go as simple as possible. It just should be a very nice, durable album without any additional things. Otherwise, there is a chance that you're going to create some sort of Frankenstein that you don't really want to see on your shelf. So now when you actually know what kind of cover you want, I basically highly recommend, as you understood, premium covers, and most of my albums made out of it. Although it's a little bit more expensive for me, but also in this video I explained my thoughts behind it. My goal is not to make as much money as possible on the album itself when I'm providing it, and most of my packages include the album actually. My goal is to put the album out there on the client's shelf or the coffee table, and to showcase it to their friends and family, and they would eventually hire me for their wedding or events. And most of my clients comes from referrals actually, because my strategy is slightly different. But anyway, now when we talked about the covers and you understand why is it important to choose one properly, let's talk how to actually order the album. Well, in our case, it's very simple. When I'm going to deliver the online gallery to you, I'm going to ask you to choose, depending on the size of the album. So let's say if you are going with 8x8, which is included in 8-hour package, there is going to be like 60 photos somewhere there. If you're upgrading it to the 12x12, this guy's upgraded from 10x10, which is this one. You can see the difference. Then it's going to feed probably around 110, 120 photos. You're going to choose this photo, send it to me. I'm going to make a layout design for you. If you feel like you're stuck a little bit and you cannot choose all the photos, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to choose it for you. And you would want to choose, I mean, of course, you can leave it up to me, but I would highly recommend to choose the family photos, because I don't know many people from your family, and I'm not sure which one do you want to include in the album. So you're going to choose that one, and then I'm going to make a layout design for you and send it to you before I'm going to print it. So there is no surprise of what you're going to get. And after that, pretty much it. You're choosing the color of the cover, you're choosing the photo for the front cover, unless, again, you have a very specific idea of how you want to customize this album. And then I'm going to send it to the lab, and 4 or 5 weeks after, you're going to receive the album. What if you want to do it yourself, the album? Let's say you haven't went with our studio and you just got your wedding photos and you want to make yourself an album. Well, first of all, I would not really recommend to do it yourself, because here's the thing. In order for me to choose this specific lab that I'm working with right now, I went to Las Vegas to the wedding expo. I went and touched every single album. I talked with the people, and I chose the lab that I want to work with. I made sure that their printed is properly calibrated, the customer services is pretty good, and the prices are good. And even with all that, some of the labs, they would not work with the end customer. They work B2B, business to business. So if you are not the business, they're not going to sell it to you, because they are interested in sending like boxes of the albums, not the one album specifically. But if you still want to print it yourself, there's the services like Blurb, for example. As far as I know, the Costco has a pretty good albums, but they are nothing close to that. It's going to be a soft paper, the soft paper albums with pretty standard covers, what I have to say. But still, if you're making these albums, here's a couple of tips how you can make it look good. Again, then keep it simple, then simpler than better. In terms of layout design, try to keep the same theme, the same idea on the spread. So let's say if it's a getting ready shots, then keep it that way. So if it's a wedding, if it's a getting ready shots of the bride, just keep it that way. Do not add anything else. If she's putting the dress on and she's already dressed with her friend's bridesmaids, keep it that way. Just spread of herself. Do not add anything else. The first look, do it as well. Well, this is the spread for the groom, of course, 3 spreads for the bride and 1 spread for the groom. But if you want to do, again, you want to do another spread, keep it in the same topic. Just do the first look itself. Do not add anything else. And so forth and so on. Ceremony, leave the 3-4 spreads for the ceremony. Make sure that the spread look balanced, that there is no mix and match colors of some sort, that is the same color theme and it's the same time of the day on the spread. Because you don't really want to get this perception. Let's say your friends came over to you and they taken a look at your album and they're like, oh, you do it yourself, so cute. You obviously don't want to have that expression. You want your album to look professional, classy, expensive, and that's why professionals out there. It's like, yes, you can make a cappuccino yourself, but should you do this? Probably for most of us, not really. Same for the albums. Leave it up to a professional. Otherwise, it's just too much work. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, when you're making the album, make sure that there is no faces right over here on the middle. That's pretty common mistake as well. Make sure that you check in cuts, actually, because when you're designing your album, even if they're providing you a specific app, there's still room for cuts. So you might design your album in the way that when you're going to actually receive it, half of your head gonna be cut by the printer, and there is like a green line on the template, barely noticeable. Just everybody knows there who's making album all the time, but if you're doing this for the first time, you might miss it. And few other things that I probably forgot to mention. You got the idea. If you can, leave it up to a professional. If you want to get something simple, probably Blurb. I'm not advertising it or anything like that. It's just I've been working with them just when I started at the very beginning, and my clients at that time could not afford the beautiful albums like that, so I would order everything from the Blurb. That's pretty much it. All I wanted to cover. Again, you understood from this video, hopefully, that the cover is incredibly important for your album. Again, if you want to see the cover itself, check out this video that I'm gonna link below as well, and you will see the difference right away. I'm going to compare this covers. Other than that, I hope I answered all of your questions. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.